Hello, and welcome back to the Nourish and Strengthen podcast. This is episode 95, and I am your host, Trainer Lindsay. We have been on a little bit of a hiatus. I don't know if you noticed. If you didn't, it's okay. It's okay. I haven't put on an episode since early June. We've been busy. We've been busy this summer. I want to know how your guys' summer is. My summer has been so amazing. Just a little bit of background. So in the month of June, the reason why we didn't do any podcasts for June and July, we traveled a ton. We actually were gone 18 days out of the month of June. So 18 days out of 21. It was crazy and it was amazing. I'm going to be talking about some of the things that I did while I was traveling, but we went to the Maldives and it was incredible. And then we came home for 3 days. And then we went on an extended family cruise, which was also incredible. The trips were so completely opposite. The Maldives was quiet and peaceful. We did nothing. We literally did nothing. We just read our books on our over the water bungalow deck. We read our books by the pool. We just walked around. We did literally nothing. And the cruise was the opposite. It was go, go, go. So many people. We did so much fun stuff. And both were amazing in their own ways. And both were so very different. So it was awesome. And we got home and we have just been, enjoying the rest of the summer. Summer is, it's not over, but it's getting there and it's crazy. Time just flies, right? So I wanted to kick off the podcast coming back with a really fun episode. And these are habits that I have used to maintain a 15-pound weight loss during perimenopause. Now you might be like, when did you lose 15 pounds? Like, that's crazy. So I'll tell you a little bit about my story, but I want to pull back the curtain and share these 5 habits that have helped me maintain that weight loss without like cutting out lots of foods, without hating my life and tracking every macro and doing tons of cardio and workouts and things like that. So these habits, they're not about perfection, okay? It's about finding that moderation in a life that you love. And it's going to be different for everyone. Finding what is sustainable and what feels like sustainable long-term for you to work with your body and not pushing yourself so hard that you always feel like you're trying to reach a goal. Because maintenance is a goal in and of itself, right? Which is something to be wildly proud of. But you don't want to always feel like you're pushing so hard and doing things you hate because you are going to get burned out, okay? So let me back up a little bit. You might remember last summer, I lost 10 pounds. It was like 10, 11 pounds for a study that I did. I have a podcast episode about that. I don't know what episode it is, but it was last summer. So if you scroll back, actually it might've been in the fall when I recorded it. I'm not 100% sure. And then just kind of slowly over, the 9 months since then, I've just kind of lost about 4 to 5 more pounds without really meaning to. Maybe these habits kind of help with that. I'm not really sure. But I am down about 15 pounds and I'm at a place right now where I feel better than I have in a long time. Because if you're not familiar with my story, I competed for about 10 years and then I gained 50 pounds in a year. And then I lost most of that. I didn't ever intend to lose all of it because when I gained the 50 pounds, I had just come off of a competition season and I was already like leaner than I wanted to be. But I am about where I was like in 2017. So kind of back before all of, that weight gain, the hormonal craziness that happened. So let's go ahead and jump in. 5 habits that have helped me maintain the weight loss during perimenopause. Okay. Habit number 1, educated eating instead of macro tracking. And so I'm a big fan of macro tracking. I truly, truly am. But I don't believe that people need to track every single macro, every single bite that goes into your mouth forever. That's a recipe for burnout and a recipe for just kind of hating your life, honestly. So, but what do I call educated eating? Educated eating is more just knowing what is in your food, knowing what your body needs for maintenance. I do believe that people should track in maintenance for a little bit so you learn what maintenance looks like for you. Okay, does that make sense? But I don't believe that once you know that you have to keep on tracking. So I haven't put food into my Fitness Pal, for a long, long time. What I do is I loosely count calories in my head, focusing on the most important things. So protein, portion sizes, and listening to my body's hunger cues, okay? It is so easy to get burned out, like I said, from like obsessively tracking everything, from going out to eat and having to check the menus online before you go. Like, that's so annoying. I don't know about you, but I love going to a restaurant and opening the menu for the first time and deciding what I want right then. I love that. And I don't know if it's because I come from years and years of kind of like stalking restaurant menus before I go, that to me that's kind of associated with like being super strict. And so I love not doing that. But what I do now, it still creates like this awareness and this accountability, and it helps me make sure I'm eating enough to fuel my body, fuel my workouts. So how I do this is I know that I need approximately 2,000 calories or so to maintain. So that means that some days are going to be a little more, some days are going to be a little less, but it's just kind of my average throughout the week. And I know about how big my meals need to be. So if my meals are about like, 300-400 calories or so, when I'm putting those meals together, I think, okay, where's my serving of protein? Okay, my serving of protein is right here. This is approximately 400 calories or approximately 350 calories. And if I know that I have, 4 meals about that size plus a snack or a treat, I'm going to go into more of that in just a minute, then I know that my day is on track. Okay, so I'm not tracking everything. I'm not even adding things up by the end of the day. I'm just looking on a meal by meal basis and making sure it's balanced, making sure it's got plenty of colors, plenty of fiber, plenty of protein, and then it's the approximate size that I need it to be. Okay, so I can also look at portions and know that I need, approximately a half cup of rice. I need some veggies. I need to have a protein. I need to have some sort of a fat a few times throughout the day. So it's a flexible approach to nutrition, but I'm not tracking every single bite in my tracking app, if that makes sense. So that's habit number 1, educated eating over macro tracking, okay? Habit number 2 is including movement I enjoy, okay? You know what I'm referring to. If you don't, it is rollerblading. I love rollerblading so much. And I know that cardio, specifically, so when I rollerblade, my heart rate typically gets like 130 to 150. It's kind of high. High for what you think, considering there's wheels on your feet, and sometimes that kind of cardio can get a bad rap when you're dieting, right? But here's the thing, okay? Sometimes I talk down about too much cardio. I'm referring to, well, first of all, I'm only rollerblading twice a week. So it's not like tons and tons. It's not like for an hour, 7 days a week or anything like that. But too much cardio when you're dieting, when you're in a fat loss phase, can have a negative effect because you're not properly fueling your activity. Okay. So when you're eating at life or at maintenance, you have more flexibility to move your body in ways that you really love, right? If you love HIIT training, if you love some circuit training in addition to heavy lifting, right? We always want to make sure we're heavy lifting. And you're at maintenance, you can do things like that, okay? So I've had clients that will say, do I have to do this forever? And I'm like, what do you mean by do this? And like cut out certain types of exercise and focus so much on XYZ. And like, sometimes my answer is like, well, yes and no. Like, yes, you do need to focus on protein, focus on overall body movement, like steps, focus on sleep, things like that are forever habits, right? But there are certain things that you only need to do when you're in a fat loss phase, right? And that would be eat a calorie deficit is one. And number 2 would be really pay attention to, you always want to pay attention to stress management, but making sure that you are keeping, cardio and like that kind of intense exercise to a moderate amount because it needs to match your calorie intake, if that makes sense. So basically what I'm trying to say is when you're eating more, when you're eating at maintenance, you have more flexibility to push yourself harder and to do the things you love, right? And so that's what I'm doing. I am eating at maintenance, I'm fueling my activity, and I'm doing activity that I love, like rollerblading, that makes me so happy. And it is a little bit more cardio than I might have when I was trying to lose weight, which is kind of opposite of what you'd think, right? But whenever if I have a client who wants to train for an event like a half marathon or a long bike ride, an extra long hike, or things that require endurance training, I always recommend that you do that at maintenance when you can actually fuel your activity as opposed to when you're trying to be in a calorie deficit. Okay. Habit number 3, sleeping a lot. A lot. Okay. And it's summer. So I'm recording this episode now when I'm actually able to sleep in until like 7 or 7:30. I do not wake up at 5 a.m. anymore. I do not wake up even at 6 a.m. anymore. During the school year, even I wake up at like 6:45. Like I prioritize sleep like almost like nothing else. Um, I have rearranged my work day, my schedule so that I can go to the gym at like 7:30 in the morning instead of at 5:30 in the morning. And I know that's my stage of life as well. I run my own business. I'm in control of my own schedule. My kids are older and I have that luxury. In the past, I felt like with my lifestyle, I had to be home from the gym before the kids got up or before the kids went to school. And that's not my phase of life right now. So I make sure I'm getting 8 hours of sleep and protecting that sleep like nothing else. It's a non-negotiable. Okay. Sleep is so important. It helps regulate hunger. It helps, which again is going to tie into habit number one, right? Listening to hunger cues. You want to make sure you are, I almost said well slept, which I guess that does make sense. Make sure you're sleeping enough so those hunger cues are really what's the word, like correct, right? When you don't get enough sleep, you will be hungrier, your cravings will be stronger. Almost kind of like, around your cycle, you have more cravings, you're hungrier. It's going to feel the same way when you don't get enough sleep. Okay. It's going to help you balance your cortisol. It's going to help lower inflammation. It's going to, of course, help boost your energy, help you feeling good throughout the day. So getting enough sleep is crucial, not only for weight loss, but also for weight maintenance. Really, really important. Habit number 4. This is going to seem silly, but it is including treats daily in moderation. If you were to ask me, when was the last time you had a free meal, a cheat meal, like whatever, however you want to call that, I don't even know because there's no foods that are off limits. All foods are fine for me. So I don't really look at food that way anymore, if that makes sense. I do try to limit though my sweets each day to about 150 calories or so, but that's plenty, guys. There are so many yummy treats at Trader Joe's for under 150 calories. There's so many little ice cream things, little like bonbons. These bonbons are my favorite right now. Oh my gosh, go get Trader Joe's bonbons. They're so good. They have like a cookie layer, a little bit of ice cream on top. They're covered in chocolate. They're 60 calories. They're awesome. I also have these bars from Costco called Magnum bars. Have you guys seen these? But they're the minis. So they have how many? I think 120 calories, 130 maybe. But they are like they're an ice cream bar covered in caramel, covered in chocolate, and they are just so rich and so good and creamy. And I have one of those, something like that, every single day. Okay, because I never end up anymore getting to the weekend and feeling like, oh, I need a cheat meal. I need a free meal. I need to go out to eat because I've been so deprived all week long. I haven't felt that way in years. So including those foods you love, for me, it's treats. For someone else, it might be salty things, chips and salsa, something like that. Including it regularly is going to help you not feel deprived. And when you feel deprived is when you feel the need to like binge on the weekend, right? Or binge in the evening after your kids go to bed. This is really, guys, truly the way to live in moderation. It's going to keep your mindset healthy. It's going to keep your approach sustainable. So you're never binging, like really, truly, really and truly. Okay. And habit number 5, eating lots of protein. Okay. There's a study. It's actually a pretty old study, but people are talking about it right now. I've seen it on social media. I've seen it in different podcasts. So it's possible that some new research came out to support it because I'm seeing people talking about it right now, but it's kind of an old study. What it was is they compared 2 groups. I am just going off of my memory here, so I don't want to claim this is exactly 100% correct, but here's the gist of it. There were 2 groups. Both groups were at maintenance calorie. Actually, no group was dieting, okay? One group was eating over maintenance calories, all in the form of protein, okay? They added, I believe it was 250 calories from protein, which is a lot of extra protein over their maintenance. And that group, and compared to the group that had moderate protein at maintenance calories, the group that ate higher protein lost, I think it was over the course of the study, it was a few months, lost a couple pounds. I think it was like 2 to 3 pounds over 12 weeks or something like that. It was pretty substantial. It wasn't like 2 pounds in a year, okay? And that is just from the increase in protein. So in my mind, here at maintenance, I almost see protein kind of as like a freebie. Okay. I prioritize it and I don't worry if I go a little bit overboard on protein. Okay. It's going to help me maintain my muscle. It's going to keep me fuller longer. It supports metabolism. It has the highest thermic effective food, which means it boosts your metabolism more when digesting it and eating it compared to carbs and fats. Okay. Probably why in that study, the people who ate quite a bit more protein actually lost a little bit of weight compared to the maintenance group. It's pretty crazy. Pretty awesome what protein can do for us. So again, if you're in a deficit, I'm not necessarily telling you to overeat on protein, although I don't think it would really affect you negatively. But here at maintenance and just maintaining my results in perimenopause, I have really prioritized protein and getting plenty of it. Okay. A couple bonus habits. I don't know for sure that these have helped me maintain my results, but these are things that I do that I love. One of them is getting outside in the sun daily. This is super easy in the summer. I do take a walk outside for about 30 minutes, but I also, when I can, try to just go outside and sit in the sun. I try to go outside first thing in the day because it's going to help regulate your circadian rhythm. So when I take my dog out to go to the bathroom in the morning, I purposefully go all the way out in the backyard and stand in the sun for a minute, as opposed to just like opening the door and letting her out. Okay. I try to walk regularly throughout the day outside instead of just like my walking pad or around my house. This is going to help my mood. It helps just moving around. It helps balance cortisol levels. This is really important. Again, I don't know if it's had a direct relationship to maintaining my weight, but I do believe it helps. Another one is just having hobbies. I am not a workaholic. I am not someone who can't get off my computer. I have things that I love to do. One of them is reading. One of them is rollerblading. One of them is snuggling my dog, if you can call that a hobby. But I have things that I love that are pretty much like just for me, right? So often as women, we are just doing everything for other people. We are going. We're driving our kids around. We're cooking for other people. We are shopping for other people. We're doing things for others, which is great, but we can't forget ourselves. And we are important. We have to keep ourselves healthy and happy to show up best for other people. So in closing, my 5 habits that help me maintain weight loss in perimenopause: educated eating, focusing on loose, informed choices, not tracking every gram and macro, fun, consistent movement that I enjoy, prioritizing lots of sleep, daily treats in moderation, and focusing on protein. So hopefully these were helpful for you guys. I'd love to hear your feedback. Happy to be back with weekly podcasts for you, and I will talk with you next week.